with that work that you've done with consulting to businesses, when would a business know now is time to change up this brand?
I was lucky enough to be part of the brand team that repositioned Carling Black Label, you know, to the point that I'm old, a good 12 years ago. And I think there's a couple of things to call out here. The first is that with everything in you, resist the urge to constantly reposition your brand, right? Like that's maybe message number one, for a couple of reasons, but one is how incredibly expensive and time consuming this is. And if you think about it, it is not just the money around repositioning and testing your repositioning and re-establishing what that brand stands for in people's heads, which will take years. It is also what you're walking away from, the marketing investment that you had behind your previous positioning, and also just the loss of efficiency, right? So you've created memory structures, which means that when people see communication from that specific brand, they have a shortcut in their heads around what this is about. And you're walking away from that as well. So resist as much as you can. Message number one. Message number two is, well, we cannot resist. We absolutely have to do it. There, my expectation would be that you, as a good brand marketer, you're close to both your consumer and your brand health. Right? And from brand health, I would suggest you look at two main metrics. The first is your consumer funnel, which, depending on your industry, changes a little bit, but has a awareness, consideration, trial, and usage kind of like phase to it. What you'd see with a brand that is in dire need of repositioning is typically that you get losses in both your consideration part of the funnel as well as in your usage, which means practically that you're losing people currently using your brand, and there are very few new people coming in. And then, the next thing to do is then start looking at your brand attributes from a brand health point of view. And there I would see or expect to see the loss of emotional connection between your consumers and your brand. And so you'll see things like decreases in this is a brand that I trust, or a brand that I recommend, or this is a brand for me. You'll see losses there. That is, of course, only step one. That is the start of your hypothesis around I need to reposition, not license to reposition. That's where you start really interrogating your consumers to understand how they're thinking about the brand, what's changed, what hasn't changed, what's good, what's bad. And from there, eventually, a considered, board-approved decision to reposition.